Hello everyone. So we are going to start with esophageal disorder. The esophagus, it develops from the cranial portion of the foregut and is recognizable by the third week of gestation. It is a hollow, highly distensible muscular tube that extends from epiglottis in the pharynx to the gastroesophageal junction. So coming to first disorder, achalasia. Esophageal achalasia is characterized by a triad of incomplete lower esophageal sphincter relaxation, there is incomplete relaxation of lower esophageal sphincter, increased lower esophageal sphincter tone, and aperistalsis of the esophagus. So basically achalasia is triad of lower esophageal sphincter incomplete relaxation, its tone is increased, and aperistalsis of esophagus. Primary achalasia is caused by failure of distal esophageal inhibitory neurons and it is idiopathic. Degenerative changes in neural innervation, either intrinsic to the esophagus or within the extraesophageal vagus nerve or the dorsal motor nucleus of the vagus, may also occur. The secondary achalasia may arise in Chagas disease or it may be seen in diabetic autonomic neuropathy, infiltrative disorders such as malignancy, amyloidosis, sarcoidosis, lesions of dorsal motor nuclei, particularly in polio or surgical ablation. Treatment options for primary and secondary achalasia include the laparoscopic myotomy and pneumatic balloon dilatation. Now we are going to study esophagitis. So basically esophagitis is inflammation of the esophagus. It could be due to any chemical or infectious agent. The stratified squamous mucosa of the esophagus, it may be damaged by a variety of irritants like alcohol, corrosive acids or alkalis, exclusively hot fluids and heavy smoking. The esophageal mucosa could also be injured while ingesting the pills if it is lodged and dissolved in esophagus rather than passing into the stomach intact. This condition is known as pill-induced esophagitis. Esophagitis due to chemical injury only causes self-limited pain, particularly dysphagia. But hemorrhage, stricture or perforation may occur in severe cases. Iatrogenic esophageal injury may be caused by chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or graft versus host disease. In immunosuppressed patients, esophageal infection by herpes simplex virus, cytomegalovirus, or fungal organism is common. Amongst the fungus, candidiasis is most common, although mucormycosis and aspergillosis may also see. Now the morphological features in esophagitis that are caused due to any chemical or infectious agents, they vary according to the etiological agent. There is dense neutrophilic infiltrate present in most cases of esophagitis, but may be absent following injury induced by chemicals. So if chemical induced esophagitis is there, then there is necrosis of the esophageal wall. So chemical will necrose the esophageal wall, while In other esophagitis, neutrophilic infiltrate is common. In pill-induced esophagitis, frequently occur at the site of strictures that impede passage of luminal contents. So when present, ulceration is accompanied by superficial necrosis with granulation tissue and eventual fibrosis. Esophageal irradiation. If esophagitis is due to irradiation, then the changes are there is intimal proliferation and luminal narrowing of the submucosal and mural blood vessels. There is proliferation of blood vessels. The mucosal damage is often secondary to radiation-induced vascular injury. If infection is by fungus or bacteria, then it may damage or complicate the pre-existing ulcer if present. The non-pathogenic oral bacteria are frequently found in ulcer beds, while the pathogenic organisms that account for almost 10% of the infectious esophagitis, they will invade the lamina propria and cause the necrosis of the overlying mucosa. So, if esophagitis is due to fungus or bacteria, so the pathogenic organism, they will invade the lamina propria and cause the necrosis of the overlying mucosa. While the non-pathogenic bacteria, they will be seen in ulcer beds. Candidiasis in its most advanced form is characterized by gray-white pseudomembranes that are composed of matted fungal hyphae and inflammatory cells covering the esophageal mucosa. This microphotograph is showing the endoscopic appearance of infectious agent of ulcer in viral esophagitis. Herpes virus typically shows punched out ulcers. Punched out ulcers are seen in herpes virus, or on biopsy there are seen intranuclear viral inclusions. Intranuclear inclusions. Within a rim of degenerating epithelial cells, there are seen intranuclear inclusions. While in CMV cytomegalovirus induced esophagitis, they cause shallow ulcerations and characteristic nuclear and cytoplasmic inclusions. Nuclear and cytoplasmic inclusions within the capillary endothelium and stromal cells. So, inclusions are seen in viral induced esophagitis. And the difference between herpes virus and CMV virus or endoscopy, the ulcers are shallow in cases of CMV infection, while they are punched out in herpes virus. The histologic appearance is characteristic although, but immunohistochemical stains for virus-specific antigens are sensitive and specific ancillary diagnostic tools. This microphotograph microscopically is we are seeing the fungal pseudohyphae, candidal pseudohyphae. These are hyphae. Now the reflux esophagitis. The stratified squamous epithelium of the esophagus is resistant to abrasions from the foods, but sensitive to acid. The submucosal glands, which are most abundant in the proximal and distal esophagus, they contribute to mucosal protection by secreting mucin and bicarbonate. Constant lower esophageal sphincter tone prevents the reflux of the acid gastric contents, which are under positive pressure and would otherwise enter the esophagus. The reflux of gastric contents into the lower esophagus is most frequent cause of esophagitis and the most common outpatient GI diagnosis. The associated clinical condition is termed as gastroesophageal reflux disease or GERD. Gastroesophageal reflux disease due to reflux esophagitis. So pathogenesis is reflux of gastric juices. It is the central to the development of mucosal injury to GERD. In severe cases, reflux of bile from the duodenum may exacerbate the damage. Conditions that contribute to GERD are alcohol, tobacco use, obesity, central nervous system depressants, pregnancy, hiatal hernia, delayed gastric emptying, and increased gastric volume. So morphology includes simple hyperemia that is evident to the endoscopist as redness may be the only alteration seen in reflux esophagitis. In mild GERD, the mucosal histology is often unremarkable. So with more significant disease, eosinophils are recruited into the squamous mucosa followed by neutrophils, which are usually associated with more severe injury. So in mild cases, the mucosal histology is unremarkable or normal. After that, there is seen eosinophilic infiltrate in the mucosa followed by neutrophilic infiltrate. Basal zone hyperplasia exceeding 20% of the total epithelial thickness and elongation of the lamina propria papillae such that they extend into the upper third of the epithelium may also be present. So, basal zone hyperplasia can also be evident. So, gastroesophageal reflux disease is most common in adults over age 40, but also occurs in infants and children. So, common in adults. Most common clinical symptoms are dysphagia, heartburn. The less common, frequent, or less noticeable are regurgitation of sour tasting gastric contents. Rarely, chronic GERD is punctuated by attacks of severe chest pain that may be mistaken for heart disease. Treatment include proton pump inhibitors or H2 histamine receptor antagonists, which reduces the gastric acidity. They typically provide symptomatic relief. Complications of reflux esophagitis are esophageal ulceration, hematemesis, melena, stricture development, and Barrett's esophagus. Another form of esophagitis is eosinophilic esophagitis. Symptoms include food impaction and dysphagia in adults, while in children, feeding intolerance or GERD-like symptoms are clinical features. The cardinal histologic feature is large number of intraepithelial eosinophils, particularly superficially. So, large number of eosinophils. Their abundance can differentiate eosinophilic esophagitis from GERD, Crohn's disease, and other causes of esophagitis. So, eosinophils can be present in other conditions like in GERD, which we have discussed previously. Then in Crohn's disease also we can see eosinophils, but in eosinophilic esophagitis we are seeing there are large number of eosinophils, particularly in the superficial mucosa. Clinical characteristic features as well as failure of high proton pump inhibitor treatment and absence of acid reflux are necessary for their diagnosis. The majority of individuals with eosinophilic esophagitis are atopic. They have atopic dermatitis, allergic rhinitis, asthma, and modest peripheral eosinophilia. Treatment includes dietary restrictions to prevent exposure to food allergens such as cow's milk and soya products, and topical or systemic corticosteroids can be given. Thank you.